What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here with The Distance. Got a video for you guys this afternoon. This one is Ray Mancini versus Duk Koo Kim revisited. Very tragic matchup that took place November 13th of 1982 between Ray Mancini and Duk Koo Kim. The matchup resulted in the death of Duk Koo Kim, and following the matchup, the referee, who I believe his name was Richard Green, and his mother had both committed suicide following the matchup. And Ray Mancini, following that matchup, was really never the same again. Following that match, but personally, I believe that 3 people died in the ring: the champion, the challenger, and the referee. But this is just me, basically doing my own commentary of the matchup. Something that I like to touch on, some of these matchups from the past, and I'm just gonna talk about it because we're hitting, next year we're gonna be hitting that 30-year anniversary, and it is what it is. I don't know if I'll be here next year or not, but anyway, I'm just gonna get into the matchup. Honestly, to be quite honest with you guys, I've known about the matchup for a while, and ever since I really started to study boxing and was aware of it, a YouTube. I've heard of this matchup, because I've followed boxing for a long time now, and there's a lot of matchups because I've studied, like I said, I've studied hours upon hours of film, and one matchup I did watch when I was a kid. I did see McClellan versus Ben. I saw that matchup when I was a kid, and I remember kind of being freaked out about it because we had legal cable, and we were able to get, I believe it was on Showtime, if I'm not mistaken, on Showtime or some network, but they showed McClellan versus Ben, and I was freaked out by that matchup when I was a kid. I think I was about, I don't remember how old I was, but I was freaked out by it, and it's to where now I still can't watch the matchup. It's not just me being sensitive. It's kind of just one of the things where I seen the matchup and I see this guy almost get killed, and I lived in the inner city. I wouldn't even get into fights with kids. I actually backed away and stuff because of that one matchup that kind of freaked me out. Even though these are professional fighters, I wasn't able to understand it back then. But around 2005, when I really started to get into the sport and start looking at other fighters and stuff, when I was able to Wikipedia certain things, I read about it was a thing, and I was just curiosity. I just wanted to look up other matchups of other tragic events that happened in the ring, just out of curiosity. So I looked up Ray Mancini, and it was just randomly one day I just looked up Ray Mancini. I saw him in the fire. Duk Koo Kim had gotten into a matchup, and Duk Koo Kim died. And a clip that I did see Johnny Owen die as well. It was a clip I just randomly came across on YouTube one day. But honestly, the misconception, the preconception that I had gotten was it was judging by what happened following the matchup, was that it was a 13-round beatdown. That was just my misconception of the matchup. Just by looking at it on paper of fire dies at the end of this matchup. But I finally kind of got myself together to watch the matchup. So I checked out the matchup, and a few things to point out is it was a highly competitive matchup. All the way towards the end of the match, when you think that Kim is about to be taken out, he starts swinging again. He has that mentality of, hey, I'm going to fight to the death, and he literally did it. He literally died, fought to his death. But something to point out is some of the spots on Duk Koo Kim's head where he was being hit. If you examine closely at the matchup, there's a couple, and there were kind of heat of the moment type exchanges, where Mancini was swinging and the punches were just landing wherever. He had shots behind, hitting that I believe the temporal lobe, and and even there's a punch on top of the head. I believe this is, I don't really remember. I think this is the temporal, like right near the brain stem. But there's a couple shots to the back of the head that they're actually accidental and no way to avoid. And we all know the shots to the back of the head are very dangerous because, and I'm not a scientist or anything, but those shots to the back of the head, because that in the back of the head, controls your breathing and your heart rate. So that could be very dangerous. And the fact that he's continuously getting punched, he's continuously exchanging with Mancini for these 13 rounds. It didn't help matters. But overall, it was a competitive matchup. Hell, this matchup, if it wasn't for the tragedy, could have been Fight of the Year of 1982. It could have potentially have been Fight of the Year because just look at the action of that matchup. And a lot of people that are like myself just can't get themselves around to seeing the matchup. Just because of the tragic results at the end. The tragic results at the end, turn a highly competitive, good matchup into one of boxing's biggest tragedies. That's just what it was. It was just a tragedy. It was an accident. Mancini, Mancini wasn't trying to kill him, but also when you're in the ring like that, you're gonna fight to the death. Fighters like that just fight to the death, and both of them were just exchanging. They both were coming forward. They both were punching, and unfortunately, the tragic event happened at the end of the matchup. Richard Green, I know, felt bad about the matchup. But also, something to take into consideration is, he could have ended the fight around 11, 12, 13. And you got 12 or 11 or 12, but Kim was punching back. There were moments where Kim, he looked unaffected by some Mancini shots, to be honest. He just looked unaffected by him. But he continued to punch. Something also to note is the knockdown when Kim's knee hit the canvas and he got hit again. And you have to think and wonder what would have happened if Duk Koo Kim, if the knockdown was counted. There's something also to think about. In like round 10 or 11, it was a knockdown. What if the knockdown was counted because after he got on his knee, he got back up real quick, and Mancini started hitting him again. So that's something else to think about. But overall, this matchup was it was a tragedy, but it's really nobody you can blame for it. You can't blame the champion for going out and doing his job. You can't blame the referee because the challenger is fighting back. There's really nobody to blame. It just happened. Shit happens in the ring. These fighters aren't willing to go out and kill other fighters, but it is what it is. And now, we go from the glorious 15-round era to the condensed 12-round fights in boxing. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter to me how many rounds a fight, as long as it's not they turn around and somebody gets hurt in the championship fight and they turn around and make 12 rounds all the way down to like 10 rounds. Because me as a boxing fan, I kind of want my combat sport fix weekly, a couple times a week if I have to. But overall, man, it's a tragic matchup. And the results were sad by it. But anyway, guys, that's just me reflecting on the match. But anyway, guys, that was Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.